Hello friends, and welcome back to my crafty space. My name is Crystal, and in today's video I'm going to be putting together the first of my projects using the September Stories by the Month kit from Ali Edwards. For this story, my plan is to create an interactive type of layout that will live outside of a page protector in my 3x8 story album. I have gone ahead and printed off some journaling on these longer canvases. So this is a 3x8, I believe. Actually, I'll double check that. Yes, so these are 3x8s. And what I did in Photoshop is I set this up so that I could add a portion of these 3 cards to the top and the bottom of this canvas, and then I have a photo that goes in between the words in the bottom, which will make a little bit more sense here as I start getting everything put together. But these are going to be the foundation of my story itself. Then for the pocket that's actually going to hold all 3 of these story cards, we'll call them, I'm going to use a piece of plain white cardstock, cut it down to roughly a 3x8, but it's going to be a little bit bigger. I'm going to cut mine to 3.875 by 8.25, and then I'm going to use these 2 journaling cards in order to create a background so that it's not white that you see. The white is just going to be the foundation for the page itself. So what I'm going to do is put you on fast forward while I get everything put together. Once I have this spread completed, we'll slow back down. I will read my journaling for you, and then we will close out from there. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so to get started with the project for today, I first am going to take one of these story cards, and these I printed off at that 3x8 size. I added my journaling on there on the computer, and then, kind of designated where everything else was going to go. I just wanted to remind myself how much room I had at the top of the little piece there, and I have about 1.5 inches. So that's where I'm going to cut off the titles of these 3 right now cards. And then I'm also chopping off the stripe at the bottom directly where it meets up with the cream of the card. So it's going to give me a bottom piece and then a right now title. I will eventually go back and decide that I want the right now portions to be even shorter, which you'll see will happen because once I get the pocket assembled, the 3x8 cards end up being a little too tall when they're down inside of the pocket. They stick up too much. So I will adjust my sizing a little bit more even from there. Next, I needed to create my foundation portion for the pocket. I cut down a piece of white cardstock down to 3.875 inches wide by roughly, by 8.25 inches tall. Now, if you are repeating this, you can just go ahead and make it 4 inches wide. It doesn't have to be 3.875, but I like that gives it a more true to size for the page protector for, let's say, a 3x8 page protector. So I like the sizing of that. So next I took the plaid card there and I just added adhesive to it and stuck it down at the top portion of this layout. Once I had it on there, I could trim off the excess and hole punch this again. I am using a 6-hole punch, and I do have a template that I use typically for the first time I'm hole punching any project. It's just an easier way for me to figure out where exactly those holes need to go. I always have a hard time with using a page protector and then taking the page protector out. I feel like I'm fumbly with that. So I just created a template and makes it so much easier. Next, I needed to add the around here portion to the bottom. So what I did is I took some 1/8 inch score tape and I just added a teeny tiny bit on the 3 sides that will be adhered down to create the pocket. And the reason I did that is because I'm planning to actually stitch that pocket on. I don't want to have too much adhesive where it's going to gum up my sewing needle, but a little bit so that it holds it in the place where I want it to go. Then I trimmed off the excess and added that in with another project. Since I have plenty of that around here pattern left, I could totally use it somewhere else. Next, I grabbed over my sewing machine. This sewing machine's just a super basic, basically like a an intro sewing machine to like teach kids how to sew. That's what I got it for originally, was to teach my daughter, but then I decided to keep it because it works wonderfully on paper crafts. So I stitched around those 3 sides, making sure to back stitch at the beginning and the end. And then once I have the strings trimmed and my machine put back, I did put those 3 cards into the pocket and realized that it was a bit taller than or the cards themselves were a bit taller than I wanted them to be. So I first am going to take a tiny portion off of the edge of all 3 of them so that they fit better with the right now and the stripe pattern. Allie's cards are just slightly less than 3 inches wide so that they fit nicely inside of the pockets for the page protectors. So when I cut down those cards originally to 3x8, they were slightly too wide. So that's why I did that. And then now I'm trying to figure out, where do I want to put this title piece? Here's where I'm going to trim off a little bit more. So now instead of being 1.5 inches, these are going to be 1 inch. And I think that sizing looks a lot better to not have as much of the tan color in the white space, since the journaling card is white, and I am totally okay with the fact that my title and the bottom piece are going to have a different color. I think that that actually gives it a little bit more interest for me to look at. I like that the title is different. So I went ahead and adhered down the first Right Now title. Then I added on the photo that I printed to go alongside that. That photo, I believe I printed, I think that is sized at maybe 3.75 by 3.75, maybe. Actually, no, they're 3 inches wide, so it would be 2.75 by 2.75, or maybe even a little bit bigger than that, but basically just under 3 inches square. And then I added the stripe at the bottom. So then I went ahead and trimmed the rest of the pieces up. I started to stick this one down, but then thought I should probably use that first one as a template to make sure that everything is placed exactly in the same spot. So I set them side by side, added some adhesive to the back of those pieces, and then I can go ahead and add the Right Now and the stripe by lining them up with the first card that I created there. So you can kind of see how that's going to work. And then I'll just have one more to go. We'll stick this photo into the middle of this spread. All of these photos, by the way, are ones that I was inspired by Lisa's Magic of Moments photography class to take. So she was talking about finding your photography voice. And I just felt really inspired to go out and take some pictures of my kids. And these photos were the result of that. Well, I guess 2 of them. The one of Izzy eating, which you'll see here next, that one was just from a day at the beach. But the other 2 came from just a day of feeling inspired to go out and take pictures. If you haven't taken that class, I definitely recommend it. I am trying to learn more about photography. I'm interested always in learning more about photography. And so, I love that there was a class offering that talked about photography. So we're going to stick this last photo down here, and then that is going to complete those cards. I just need to go ahead and trim off the excess white portion there. And for whatever reason, I don't know if my cut is slightly angled for the white pieces, but for whatever reason, the stripe is just a tad bit too wide. So I do trim those pieces off as well. All right, so we're going to clean off my table here and then bring this over. I did also pull out a chipboard piece that says good stuff right here. I'm going to stick that into the middle portion of the pocket at the bottom. I like the way that looks. And then I also want to add my date stamp to this page so I can remember when it was I created this layout. So that's just going to go in the bottom right-hand corner of the pocket. Then we're going to stick those pieces down inside of the pocket, and we'll call this one done after that. Love, love, love how this one came together. All right, friends, that completes my spread for today. So this one turned out really, really fun. I love having these interactive pages in my scrapbook, and just being able to pull things out and play with them outside of the pockets is just really, really fun for me. I hope that you enjoyed seeing how this one came together, and if you did, I would love a thumbs up on this video down below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you can catch all of my future crafty videos. And the last thing I'm going to do today for our video is to go ahead and read my journaling. So if you are heading out here, then I'll catch you in the next video. Otherwise, let's go ahead and dive into the story. So from this pocket, we just pull out the 3 journaling cards here. The first one says, "Life right now looks like this." So here's my journaling. Life looks like family adventures to various places throughout the weeks, to the beach, the park, the playground, the zoo. Life looks like growth spurts and grown-up haircuts. Life looks like family vacations and road trips together. Life looks like snuggles in the bed as the kids come in at some point in the night almost every night. Life looks like magnet tiles and miniature cars and tracks scattered throughout the entire house. Life looks like artwork and the beginnings of story writing created by Isabella in every room. Life looks like telling fewer stories for a time in order to live more stories now. Life looks like baby snuggles and warm hugs. Life looks chaotic as we begin to pack it all away. Life looks really good. Next we have life tastes like this right now. Life tastes like summertime right now, like the delicious ripe melons and grapes and cherries and berries. Life tastes like cold sour beers and fresh brewed iced tea. Life tastes like all the grilled things, burgers and hot dogs from family cookouts, grilled chicken salads on an easy dinner night, char-grilled corn and veggies. Life tastes like a constant helping of mac and cheese to appease Jonah, and the regular salads for Izzy's choice. Life tastes like ice cream outings and hot evening popsicles. Life tastes like road trip pit stops for fast food or Cracker Barrel or gas station candy treats. Life tastes like cups and cups of coffee to help us get through the busy days. Life tastes so sweet and happy right now. And finally, we have life sounds like this right now. Life sounds like a house full of commotion from the kids to the cats. Everyone has something to say at all times of the day. Life sounds like outside squeals of happiness and laughter rolling in from the playset. Life sounds like deep discussions amongst the adults and the expression of dreams for what will come next. Life sounds like raindrops from the wettest season in memory and the soothing sounds of the pond fountain on the sunny hot days. Life sounds like childhood imaginations dreaming up pretend stories to play out with each other. Life sounds like Marvel shows and Mario video games. Life sounds like meowing cats constantly asking for food and pets. Life sounds like joy around here right now. So those are my 3 pieces of journaling, taking in the prompts from those cards to help me guide the story that I'm telling. And I really love looking at, what is happening around us right now, what is happening in life right now from the perspective of senses. So seeing, hearing, tasting. You could also do feeling, and you could also do smells like. So there's just a lot of different ways to tell a story and different angles to come at a story from in order to get more pieces of that into your memory keeping. All right, friends, well, that is it. I'm going to go ahead and stick these back in the pocket, and then this is ready for me to photograph and put away. Woohoo! I hope that you enjoyed hearing that journaling today, and I hope it inspires you to tell a story about what's happening around you right now in your life. I'm going to be back again later in the week with some other videos, so hopefully I will see you back here for those. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next videos. Bye, friends.